What is up? What is up? YouTube. How y'all doing, man? Yeah. Hey, this is our stream channel right here, man. Shout out to everybody who joined. Shout out to our stream channel for a little younger generation doing the same thing. Leaked jail video connected to Foolio case goes viral. The details are wild. Man, dude, I'm trying to preach to these youngins, man. You don't want to go to jail. It's almost like you sitting in timeout, so you thinking, I don't know what you're thinking, man. I can't make up nothing, man. Dude, you don't want to be in there. Golly, I'm allergic to jail. Y'all hit that subscribe button.
One of Julio's killers just slipped up big time. Word is, Davian Murphy got left alone in that interrogation room, thinking he was in the clear. But the cameras were still rolling as he straight up acted out the whole murder scene.
He starts walking around the interview room, and then he starts going. And then he walks around, and then he does it again.
Murphy basically sealed his own fate and didn't even realize it. He gave the prosecution every piece of ammo they needed to bury him, and then made it worse by dropping names like it was nothing. Now let's break this all down. The killers thought the cameras were off, but the truth always finds a way out. The murder of Charles Andrew Jones II, known on the streets as rapper Foolio, shook the whole rap scene and had the hood buzzing nonstop. On June 23rd, 2024, what was meant to be a wild birthday celebration for the 26-year-old rapper turned tragic when he was taken out in a cold, targeted hit outside a Holiday Inn in Tampa, Florida. This wasn't no random drive-by or spur-of-the-moment street beef. Nay, this was a calculated, heartless move pulled off by people who'd been stalking their target all night long. But here's where it gets real spicy. These so-called killers thought they were slick, like some movie villains who could outsmart the system. What they didn't know was that their own cockiness and pure stupidity would turn into the evidence that's got them staring down life in prison or even the death penalty. The evidence is so solid, even the sharpest defense lawyers would be stressing over how to spin this one. It all went down in an interrogation room at the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, where Davian Murphy, one of 5 suspects charged in Julio's murder, was getting pressed hard by detectives. This 27-year-old, allegedly tied to that 1,200 gang, had been ducking the law for over 6 months before they finally caught him on January 6th, 2025. With backup from the U.S. Marshal Service, the hunt was on. Picture this scene. Detectives going all in, grilling Murphy from every angle, trying to make him slip up and spill something that would bury him. Murphy sitting there cool as ice, thinking he's slick, giving just enough answers to look cooperative without actually snitching on himself or his crew. The tension in that room was thicker than cold grits. Investigators kept pressing him. Where were you the night of the hit? Who were you riding with? What part did you play in the setup that got Julio taken out? You could practically feel the walls closing in. Then came that moment, the one that flipped the whole case upside down and made Murphy look like the biggest clown in Jacksonville. During a short break, the detective stepped out, leaving Murphy all by himself. That's when he made the dumbest move of his life. What he didn't know, what he couldn't even imagine, was that the cameras were still rolling, catching every little thing he was about to do, thinking he was finally off the hook. Murphy started wilding out like he was back in the streets, doing fake shooting motions, pretending to hold a rifle, acting out the whole scene. According to detectives who testified during his bond hearing on January 16, 2025, this man literally reenacted the murder right there in the interrogation room while the tape was rolling.
He puts out his arms like this, and it appears that he's brandishing a rifle with one hand extended and one, what I would consider the trigger finger. And he starts walking around the interview room, and then he starts going. And then he walks around, and then he does it again.
Can you even picture this? A grown man staring down life in prison, or maybe even the electric chair, acting out the very murder he's being grilled about. It's like he forgot where he was, lost in his own twisted little movie scene. The detective who witnessed the whole thing was so stunned that he ended up reenacting Murphy's moves in court, right there in front of the judge and everybody, showing exactly what the surveillance footage caught. But this wasn't some nervous breakdown or random twitching. Nah, this looked like a man enjoying what he did, like he was reliving it with pride. The prosecution jumped all over that, saying Murphy's actions proved he thought the cameras had stopped rolling, which made everything he did even more damning. You could almost hear the courtroom gasp when they broke it down like that. To really see how wild this moment was, you gotta look at the bigger picture of Julio's murder. This wasn't a random street fight or some heat-of-the-moment argument. This was the bloody climax of a gang war that had been burning for nearly a decade, leaving dozens of bodies behind. Foolio, who repped that 6-block set of KTA Killed Them All, was caught deep in a feud with rival crews, ATK Aces, Top Killers, and the 1200 Out East Squad. This wasn't just some online rap beef. It was real street drama that had been boiling over for years. The tension exploded through social media taunts, diss tracks, and brutal violence that tore through families and neighborhoods. Every post, every lyric added more fire to the feud. On that tragic night in June 2024, Foolio was out celebrating his birthday, hopping through Tampa spots, completely unaware of the danger creeping close.
Hey, the pool party start today at 5, 6 o'clock. You already got the address, pull up, man. You got the address, pull up. If you need the address, DM me right now. The pool party start at 5, 6 o'clock. We came deep for my birthday, man. Everybody come like a stare. No cap, man. You know what I'm saying?
They coming
you know
up.
What I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We deep as hell.
Oh my goodness.
We deep as hell. 20.
After the pool party, the suspects started tailing Foolio, first to Teaser's Gentlemen's Club, then Truth 18 nightclub, and finally to the Home 2 Suites, where the deadly ambush went down. He had no idea his enemies were lurking close, tracking every move, waiting for that one slip-up to strike. One of the most heartbreaking parts of it all, Foolio's own social media gave them the blueprint. He was posting in real time, flexing from spot to spot, not knowing those posts were practically dropping his location straight into the hands of the people plotting to take him out. What Foolio didn't realize was that he was practically handing his killers a GPS to his exact location. The hit itself was straight up military style. 3 shooters, high-powered rifles, and 31 shell casings scattered across the scene like a war zone. This wasn't sloppy or random. It was a cold, calculated ambush that took serious planning and coordination. These people weren't playing games. They came to finish what they started. 5 suspects got hit with murder charges. Sean Gathright, 18, Isaiah Chance, 21, Alicia Andrews, 21, Rashad Murphy, 30, and Davian Murphy, 27. Every one of them was allegedly tied to rival sets that had been beefing with Foolio's crew for years, and the evidence stacking up against them? Brutal. Surveillance footage caught the crew following Foolio all over Tampa that night, while phone records showed some heavy incriminating texts, like one from Rashad Murphy talking about Don Foolio as a diss toward the rapper. Investigators also uncovered that Rashad had booked an Airbnb in Tampa the day before the shooting, showing how premeditated this really was. But it was Davian Murphy's straight-up clown show in that interrogation room that sent this whole case over the top. Here's a man facing the most serious charges possible, literally acting out the crime on camera. The moment was so wild that it became a key highlight during his 5-hour bond hearing, which ended with the judge shutting him down completely and denying bond. The prosecution didn't even have to try that hard to convince the court. Murphy was way too dangerous to be back on the streets. His little performance in that interrogation room sealed the deal and made him look completely unhinged. The courtroom saw enough to know this man couldn't walk free. Prosecutors made it clear that 3 suspects, Isaiah Chance, Sean Gathright, and Rashad Murphy, are all staring down the death penalty if they're convicted. Meanwhile, Alicia Andrews, who's pregnant, isn't facing the ultimate punishment, but is still tangled deep in this mess. As for Davian Murphy, given the mountain of evidence and his alleged role as one of the shooters, it's almost certain he'll be facing the death penalty too. The legal side of this case is a total maze and still unfolding. Alicia Andrews' trial was supposed to go down in early January 2025, but her lawyer quit, pushing everything back with a new tentative date around August 2025 or later. The rest of the suspects, including Murphy, are set for trial in April 2026, meaning this drama is far from over. But to really grasp the chaos that went down in that interrogation room, you gotta step back and look at the brutal world that bred it. Foolio's murder wasn't random. It was the final bloody chapter in a 10-year street war that's left dozens dead and entire families torn apart across Jacksonville. This is the story of young men trapped in an endless cycle of revenge where neighborhoods turned into battlegrounds and loyalty became a death sentence. These neighborhoods literally turned into war zones. Charles Andrew Jones II, known on the streets as Foolio, was born on June 21st, 1998, and grew up in Jacksonville's Monterey neighborhood. His early life was full of tragedy and struggle, experiences that shaped not only his music, but also his path into the gang life that would eventually cost him his life. When Foolio was just 13, his father was killed in a shooting in 2011, a brutal event that left a permanent scar and pushed him even deeper into the street culture surrounding him. Foolio got connected with the 6-block set of the KTA Killed Them All street gang, a crew that ran the area and was notorious for running all sorts of illegal operations. His music reflected all of this, with bars that told the harsh realities of the streets and the constant threat of violence. On the other side of this deadly story was another young man whose life was shaped by similar struggles. Keonta Tyrone Buller, known in the rap game as Young Ace, was born February 12, 1998 in East Chicago, Indiana, but moved to Jacksonville as a kid. Growing up with his mom and 11 brothers under tough conditions, Ace faced hardship from day one. His father was also killed in 2011, the same year as Foolio's dad, creating parallel tragedies that would mold both young men's paths in life. Young Ace got linked up with the ATK, Ace's Top Killers gang, named after him, and stood as a rival to Foolio's 6-block crew. This rivalry became the core of years of street violence, dragging in dozens of other young men and spinning a tangled web of loyalty, betrayal, and revenge that few could ever escape. The beef that would eventually lead to Foolio's death really started heating up in 2017 with the murder of Ace's 18-year-old cousin, Zion Malik Brown. That hit is widely seen as the spark that ignited a deadly gang war, setting off years of back-and-forth retaliation that only escalated over time. The conflict hit a devastating peak in June 2018 with a shooting at the St. John's Town Center. Young Ace got wounded, while 3 others were killed. His brother Trayvon Bullard and 2 of his homies, Royale, Devin Smith Jr., and Jacoby Desha Groover. The attack was reportedly carried out by members of 6-block, marking a serious escalation in the violence between these crews. What came next showed just how ruthless and public this feud had become. Foolio started posting disrespectful content on social media, including a t-shirt with "Rest in 23, mocking Royale, Devin Smith Jr., and pushing the drama even further. The stage was set for years of violent back and forth that would claim numerous lives along the way. Lives were lost and entire neighborhoods lived in fear. In January 2019, Willie Addison, aka Boss Goon, was killed at Paradise Gentlemen's Club, an attack tied directly to the ongoing gang conflict. That same year, Lil Buck, Charles Quentin McCormick Jr., and Bibby Adrian Denard Gaynor Jr., both connected to KTA, were also killed in separate incidents, widely believed to be retaliatory hits by ATK. Foolio himself became a repeated target, surviving multiple shootings, first in July 2020 in Houston, Texas, and again in October 2023 in Jacksonville. After the 2023 attempt, Foolio even spoke about it on Instagram Live, saying,
When I look down on my foot, I see him bleeding, but I'm like, I see the front. See, I ain't show y'all the back side of my ankle. The front and the back side of my ankle, like, they bleed.
Every close call only cranked up the tension and made his enemies more determined to take him out for good. Both crews used social media and music to turn their private war into a public spectacle. Foolio dropped diss tracks like When I See You, which blew up with nearly 1 million views in just 12 hours. On the flip side, ATK, led by Young Ace, fired back with Who I Smoke, racking up over 14 million views in 3 weeks. The track referenced killings of 6-block members and straight up glorified the violence. These platforms weren't just for disrespect, they were used to recruit new soldiers and even to document the conflict, helping the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office make arrests. In January 2019, the feud got even messier with the involvement of a third gang, 1200 Out East, which allied with ATK against 6-block. This made the battlefield bigger, adding more potential shooters and victims. This alliance was critical in Foolio's murder, as suspects Rashad Murphy and Davian Murphy were both tied to 1200 Out East. Law enforcement has called this one of the deadliest gang wars in Jacksonville history, with dozens of murders on both sides. The victims weren't just gang members, innocent families and entire communities got caught in the crossfire. The violence hasn't stopped. Even recently, it claimed the life of 7-year-old Brian Allen on January 20th, 2025, in a shooting meant for his cousin, a rapper tied to ATK. Suspects aged 17 to 24, affiliated with 6 Block, were arrested in connection with this heartbreaking incident. Now we hit the juiciest part of this whole story, the part with one of Jacksonville's biggest rap stars and the wild rumors tying him to Foolio's murder. Young Ace, aka Kea Bullard, is caught in a crazy web of allegations, denials, and contradictions that keep making headlines and lighting up street talk even more than a year after the fatal shooting. To be clear, Young Ace hasn't been charged with any crimes linked to Foolio's murder, despite being central to the gang rivalry that ultimately sparked it. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office has confirmed there's no current investigation into Ace for the murder, though they're keeping tabs on him because of his gang ties and the ongoing tension in the streets. But Ace's connection runs deep. Through his ties to ATK and his beef with Foolio, law enforcement spent hours dissecting his role during Davion Murphy's 5-hour bond hearing on January 17, 2025, detailing his connection to ATK and the violent rivalry with Foolio's 6 Block crew. While Ace was a key figure in the law enforcement narrative, the state attorney's office is focusing strictly on facts and evidence and is not pursuing charges against him, at least for now. But here's where it gets really wild. Ace and Foolio's relationship was way more complicated than just gang beef. In a shocking Instagram Live on July 21st, 2024, Ace revealed that he and Foolio were actually cool before everything went south.
What you think about Foolio dying, cuz? That's sad. Twin, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Y'all boys in the street, y'all didn't leave the streets alone, twin. All condone it like that. It's so funny, cause me, bro, like we cool, like we was cool and me, him, like we cool and I was just so funny. I was just talking to them. I'm like, bro, you gotta stop. Wait, bro, you know, love y'all here. Like, stop. Wait, bro. Like, you know, I with the rich.
Yo, this revelation had the entire hip-hop community shook. Here were 2 young men painted as deadly enemies through countless diss tracks and social media posts, yet Ace claimed they had squashed their beef privately before Foolio got killed. But hold up, Ace's moves right after Foolio's death raised major red flags about how real those claims actually were. On June 24th, 2024, just hours after Foolio was murdered, Ace dropped a song called Do It. The timing and content blew up online, with fans and observers reading it as a diss aimed straight at the late rapper. The lyrics included bars like, "They called my phone, said they got the low. I told them do it," which many interpreted as referencing Foolio's murder. The music video even showed scenes resembling the hotel parking lot where Foolio was killed, sparking widespread speculation about whether Ace was celebrating the death or just riding the wave of the publicity. Things got even messier when unverified claims began circulating on social media. A video appeared showing a masked man claiming to be the shooter behind Foolio's murder, alleging that young Ace had paid him to carry out the hit.
I'm the one that smacked Foolio that night when he got dropped at his birthday celebration. I rock with Ace and them boys, you feel me? ATK, you feel me? I be in Jacksonville heavy. Ace had that money on his head, you know, Ace had them put that 10K up. Told me to slide, told me to smack fool, because you know he got tired of that running his mouth playing.
However, that claim is completely unverified. The masked individual's identity is unknown, and there's no confirmation from law enforcement or credible sources. Multiple hip-hop news outlets have stressed that this allegation is purely speculative and isn't tied to any charges or ongoing investigation. Real talk, anyone can throw on a mask and claim something wild, but that doesn't make it true. Young Ace's own legal troubles have added another layer of drama. On April 15th, 2024, he was arrested in Jacksonville Beach for gun possession, but those charges were dropped on July 3rd, 2024, due to insufficient evidence. Court records showed that DNA and phone evidence failed to link Ace to the weapons, and prosecutors declined to move forward, citing a low chance of conviction. These dropped charges highlight just how tricky it is for law enforcement to deal with high-profile figures tied to gang activity. Sheriff T.K. Waters has openly acknowledged Ace's long-standing involvement in local gang circles, but emphasized that charges have to be backed by solid evidence, not just street reputation or gang affiliation. The 5 suspects who were actually arrested for Foolio's murder, all tied to ATK and 1,200 Out East, the same gangs connected to young Ace. This connection is undeniable and fuels most of the speculation around Ace's potential involvement. The evidence against the actual suspects is intense and damning. Digital evidence included text messages from Rashad Murphy talking about Don Julio as a way to disrespect him, plus the fact that Murphy booked an Airbnb in Tampa the day before the shooting. Ballistic analysis even linked the weapons used in Julio's murder to 4 shootings and 1 homicide back in 2022 in Jacksonville. The prosecution's case is built on this concrete evidence directly tying the suspects to the crime scene and the murder itself, while Young Ace's gang ties and beef with Julio provide critical context. Law enforcement has focused their charges on the people who can be directly connected to the shooting. One of the wildest parts of this case, Isaiah Chance claiming he's innocent. In May 2025, Chance went on Instagram arguing that the police arrested the wrong people. He claimed there was no clear footage of the shooters, no murder weapons recovered, and no shell casings linking him to the crime. This introduces an element of doubt and clashes with the prosecution's reliance on circumstantial evidence. But let's be real, defendants claiming innocence isn't anything new. Public reaction to Young Ace's potential involvement has been intense as hell and all over the map. Social media is split. Some say he set the whole murder up. Others swear he's getting blamed just because of the beef with Julio after his crew got arrested. Fans and haters went crazy online, bouncing between hot takes and full-on conspiracy. Ace even posted on Instagram, "When you approach me, be ready to die or go to jail. That's my mentality." That line sounded like a direct warning to some, especially given the timing around the murder, and it lit the streets up with reaction. Law enforcement's job is tricky here. They're watching Young Ace closely, balancing digging into possible links and not charging someone just for rep or who they hang with. Sheriff TK Waters has said there's intense surveillance on high-profile gang figures, so the cops are playing this tight and careful.
So Young and Ace has long been known in Jacksonville. We are consistently monitoring those groups. We have people that are always watching them.
This case really shines a light on the tricky line between artistic expression and real-life crime. In the drill rap scene, both Julio and Young Ace built their names by documenting and dramatizing their gang ties and beefs. Their music videos, social media posts, and lyrics have all been analyzed by law enforcement and even used as evidence in court. Meanwhile, the 5 suspects in custody are facing trials that could end in life sentences or even death. Young Ace keeps grinding on his music career, but under the watchful eyes of law enforcement. Every move he makes is scrutinized for potential links to ongoing violence in Jacksonville neighborhoods. Meanwhile, other young people are still facing the same choices that led to this tragedy, hoping their stories might turn out differently. One thing's crystal clear. This case exposes how social media beefs can turn deadly, how gang loyalty can push young men to risk everything, and how the streets always collect on debts that never should have existed in the first place.
Golly, man. The thing that shocked me about this whole thing is that female that's in jail because of this whole situation, man. That's crazy. Man, I'm gonna knock out one more, man. I'm behind, y'all. So this for the stream channel. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.